We got that whiskey proof news. I don't know, I gotta come up with an intro for this. What's up, guys? My name's Brenner. Welcome to my channel. This is Mr. Liquor Sipper, and this is today's whiskey proof news. We recently have just been exposed to some groundbreaking information that is newly established American single malt whiskey. Let's get into the details. If you're interested, stay tuned, and well, stay tuned. On to this breaking news that we have just recently found out. So, the Federal Tax and Trade Bureau, also known as the TTB, not to be confused with tuberculosis, TB, today has actually issued a notice of proposed rulemaking that will establish a new American single malt whiskey category. So this is pretty exciting. Now, the decision is already making waves in the industry, as you can imagine. All right, so here's a small quote. This is great news for U.S. distillers and consumers alike. This is said by Chris Swanger, the CEO of the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States. This is from a prepared statement where he also stated the formal establishment of standards of identity for American single malt whiskey is a clear recognition that this is a rapidly growing category and is also unique and deserves to be defined and protected as a distinctive product of the United States. Pretty cool. All right, in other news, my cat just gave birth to a dog. So the Tax and Trade Bureau has officially published the American Single Malt Whiskey Standard of Identity Notice of Proposed Rulemaking in the Federal Register. Comments on this rulemaking will be due September 27th. The Bureau is proposing to amend the whiskey standard of identity and its codes and regulations by adding American single malt whiskey as a type of whiskey in its language. The Bureau's proposed American single malt whiskey definition is American single malt whiskey must be distilled entirely at one U.S. distillery and must be mashed, distilled, and aged in the United States. So also it has been noted that it must be distilled to a proof not exceeding 160 proof from a fermented mash of 100% malted barley. It must be stored in oak containers not exceeding a capacity of 700 liters, and it also must be bottled in nothing less than at 80 proof. Now, consumer fascination with American single malt whiskey is at an all-time high, and establishing a clear definition will drive innovation and help maintain the integrity of this category as more products enter the market. Now, it was on April 28th of this year that the Distilled Spirits Council and American Single Malt Whiskey Coalition sent a letter to the Tax and Trade Bureau urging to move forward with using its additional American Single Malt Whiskey to the standards of identity for distilled spirits. Now, the Distillers Council and the Coalition submitted official comments to the Bureau back in June of 2019 in support of establishing a standard of identity for American single malt whiskey as part of the Bureau's 2018 rulemaking to modernize the labeling and advertising regulations for distilled spirits, wine, and malt beverages. That change in rulemaking remained on the semi-annual agenda until just this week. Now, this information was a little bone dry, but I thought it was a little bit interesting, and I figured, hell, why not give you guys a little bit of information. Obviously, this is not things that I'm making up or straight off the cuff. This is some information that I found online from the Whiskey Wash. Alright guys, thanks for jumping into the glass with me today and sipping on some information. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have anything that you're looking for specifically, you guys want specific reviews, or you guys are looking for when this or that is coming out, I can get my my handy dandy ear and put it to the ground, and I can figure out some information for you guys. Until next time, cheers and keep on sipping.